started losing my eyesight at the age of 8 years of age. And it's macular degeneration, and the type is Stargardt's. It's very common amongst older people from the age of 75 and above, but it's a hereditary recessive gene, and I got it when I was 8 years old. So I started losing my sight, and my dad was a great golfer, and at the age of 12 he said, "Come on, let me teach you some golf." From picking up a club within 18 months, I was a 6 handicapper. My dad gave me, the very, very good basics, so he taught me very well. So I was very lucky in that aspect, and then just started playing golf from there, just with my father, and my sister is also visually impaired, but I went to a normally sighted school, so I never mixed with other visually impaired or any disabled people. Grew up on a farm, went to boarding school, so I always thought I was one of the only people in the world. I adapted to the normally able-bodied sighted world. So I think therein was a great favour done to me.
A South African by birth, Pieta's eyesight worsened as he got older and his golf was left behind, as was his career as a surveyor. He retrained as a physiotherapist and by chance was reintroduced to the game.
While I was in Cape Town, I got introduced totally by accident through friends to a disabled mate. We became mates, and he said, "Oh, I'm starting to play golf," and I said to him, "Oh, I know a little bit about golf. I'll go down to the driving range with you, and I can help you if you want. I mean, I'm not a pro or anything, but I can give you some pointers." And obviously, being a physio, he had one arm, so he played one-handed golf. And I went down, and lo and behold, I met the SADGA, the South African Disabled Golf Association, and I got speaking to the now CEO Eugene Forster, and started chatting, and he said, "Oh, come on, you're playing." I said, no, I'm not interested. And to cut a long story short, I started blind golf in South Africa.
Pieta started to classify the blind and disabled golfers in South Africa. He soon became aware of how prevalent blind and disabled golf was around the rest of the world.
Through that, I was fortunate enough to be invited for my first international tournament in 2003. I was invited to the World Invitational, the Blind World Invitational, held in Westerwood in Scotland. First ever tournament, and I met the Scottish and English people, and there for the first time I saw loads of visually impaired people in golf, and I never realized it was that big over the world. Still small, but I mean massive, where you can go to any country and have a blind golf association that you can join.
A natural athlete and a golfer from an early age, Pieta was soon collecting silverware in his native land, but it was international success that he was really chasing.
Obviously, through winning the South African Open a couple of times, I was lucky enough to be invited for my first Blind World Golf Championships in 2008. And I was still living in South Africa. I moved to England in 2009 in May. And I went from South Africa, and that was held in Northern Ireland, Beaver Park. So it was a tandem event. We went to play the British Open at Mazarine Park, first British Open ever, and I was lucky enough to win at the lowest gross on my B2 sight category. And I went on, I won the World Championships as a B2. I became the world champion, and so it was a fantastic trip, obviously.
In blind golf, participants are reliant on their guides, who will work with the player to describe how the ball lies, the yardage, and most importantly, set the player up correctly.
Without guides, we can't do anything. And blind golf is really a team sport. If you are really only as good as your guide. And the more you have a relationship and the more you play together and you get to understand, the player's game from a guide's point of view, you can give him better and better advice, and you just become stronger and stronger. Are very privileged. Without the guides, nothing would happen. We are totally, solely dependent on our guides, and for them to give up their time and come and help us is just I think it's awesome. Without them, nothing like this would happen.
Blind and disabled sports are on the rise and becoming a real passion for those participating. There's the opportunity to travel around the world to compete, and great friendships are forged too.
It's really a passion, the blind golfers. We do it for the love of the game. We spend a lot of money, but it's really, it's about the camaraderie and meeting the chaps. And it's nice, like a British Open, any Open, there's guys all over the world that arrive, and you become friends and you get to know each other eventually, and chatting and how they're doing in life, and you can give each other advice. And for lots of these guys, I think, it's actually what they live for. It's the only thing they do. It gets people out the house. So, you know, psychosocially, I suppose it's fantastic because, as you know, knowing disabled people, you know, especially after an accident, whether you lose your eyesight or an arm or a leg or you're in a chair or something, it can become quite depressive very quickly. And it affects your immediate family around you, you know, husband or wife or children or family or friends. And because, yeah, it's tough. It's tough, to make a long story short. And this is a good outlet for most guys.